I've been to Disney World over 1,000 times and we are still finding new places. It's very easy to get wrapped up in the popular areas, but what if I were to show you the 10 places at Disney World you've never been? I guarantee you haven't been to all of these 10 places in Disney World, and if you have, you might be a Disney World expert. Disney World is huge. It's literally its own city. When you're planning your vacation, you probably know what rides you want to hop on, what shows you want to catch, what snacks you want to eat. But there are so many hidden gems in Disney World that you probably have never even been to before. Today I'm going all over Disney World property to show you my favorite places that you probably have never been before. So take out a pen and paper to see if you're really a Disney expert. Jot these babies down. We're hitting food spots, we're hitting photo spots, attractions, plus some solid firework areas. Let's go. In Disney's Animal Kingdom is one of my favorite photo opportunities. Now, there are a lot of different photo opportunities at Animal Kingdom, you know, especially with all the details here. There's the Tree of Life. There's, a million exhibits you could take photos in front of. But my favorite photo op is where the photo op actually compliments you back. This photo op is actually in Harambe Market in Africa at Animal Kingdom. And this photo op, there's a big reason probably why you've never been to this photo op. Because it's extremely hidden, and there are definitely better times to see this photo op than other times. Because it's right next to a staff-only, a cast member's door. This is next to where the kitchen is, so on busier lunch times, peak times, things like that, they might be coming in and out of these doors more frequently. But it is the "You Are Most Beautiful" sign. This is definitely slowly becoming a fan favorite, but for a long time, no one knew about this, but it is definitely one of my favorite spots to take a picture because there is nothing like words of affirmation. Here's a few reasons why you probably have never been to this specific photo op in Harambe Market. Harambe Market is a quick service location where you can grab food, more healthier food, but still, and you're probably not in selfie mode, you're probably in full hunger mode, so you probably missed it all together, and it is extremely hidden. But why you should definitely go to this photo op next time is because it's definitely a place that doesn't really get used that often. Big safety note, if you are using this photo wall, definitely be courteous to cast members. They are trying to do their job. Make sure they have full access in and out. This is where the kitchen is. This is what they're trying to do. So if you are using it, please use caution and stay out of the way of cast members. I'll let them do their job first. You are most beautiful. Thank you. I know. Also, here's a really cool side note. There's actually a bar in Harambe Market that has non-alcoholic drinks that can be made alcoholic. Speaking about places that I've never been, I just actually I didn't know this existed until recently. So it's just kind of a cool side note. I think recently Quincy had the Harambe Sunrise, which is jungle juice with wild strawberry and garnished with a strawberry, and she added the tequila. So I mean, not a bad way to have a good day at Animal Kingdom. I am probably way too excited for this next place that you probably never have been before. Mostly because it's not really part of the theme park circuit. It's definitely something to do on your break day or anything like that. But it's one of my favorite places. It's Fantasia Mini Golf. So Fantasia Gardens Miniature Golf features two 18-hole courses within walking distance of Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and the Crescent Lake resorts at Walt Disney World. And those resorts would be the Boardwalk, the Swan Dolphin, Yacht Beach Club, those resorts. Now this is not the only putt-putt golf situation on Disney property. There's also the Winter Summerland miniature golf course, which is by Blizzard Beach, where you have one course that's dedicated to all things winter and one course that's dedicated to all things summer, and yet Santa still plays a big part in both of them. I don't know. Now, Fantasia Gardens is really open from about 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. There are two courses. One is the Gardens course, and that's going to be your most Disney-fied. David, it's your turn. That's going to be your most Fantasia Disney-fied course, where you're going to see favorite Disney characters like Mickey Mouse and the scenes from Fantasia, right? And then there's the Fairway course, which is definitely probably more for people who are expert putters, you know, that it's definitely much harder than you would anticipate. It takes a certain amount of skill to do the fairway course, but for the Gardens course, definitely family friendly, lots of fun. Now, I did come on a weekend, so it is a tad more busy than it normally would be, but they told me about a 10-minute wait for them to call my name, make sure everything is good to go. They leave a good amount of distance between families, so that way families have enough time to, you know, enjoy their putting experience. So you got about a 10-minute wait, and they've got an arcade while you wait. They've got these kind of lawn games, and they've got they've got lockers in case you're coming with a lot of different bags, and they do parking validation, which is always important. So make sure you get your parking validated. Everyone that I know who talks about the Fantasia Gardens putt-putt or even the Winter Summerland putt-putt is they say next time. Oh, that looks like a lot of fun, but I'll do it next time. Which again, if you're not here that often, I totally get it. But here's why you definitely should go on your resort days, or if you're taking a break from the parks. It's not very busy. I mean, I don't know if you can see around me. It just isn't. And there's just not a lot of people around. Probably something new that you haven't done before, or you haven't done a whole bunch. Also, it's some fun, family-friendly competition, and who doesn't love that? A Disney-fied fun, family-friendly competition, which is half the fun, right? Oops. Now, there are many different firework viewing locations. Obviously, there's in-park viewing, there's viewing the fireworks on a roller coaster, maybe viewing the fireworks on a beach at the Polynesian, maybe you're eating dinner and you're viewing it through a huge window. This is one of my favorite firework viewing locations because it's super hidden and there are seats. Welcome to Disney's Contemporary Resort. Now, the Contemporary Resort is a ultra-modern Disney resort hotel where you can discover award-winning dining, spectacular views, and dazzling pools. No, I don't typically use the word dazzling. That is the Disney description. Dazzling pools. So whether you're staying in the iconic A-frame Contemporary Tower or the nearby Garden Wing, you can actually walk to the Magic Kingdom. Or if walking is not your thing, you can actually take the monorail, because this is the only resort that the monorail zooms through, like literally the inside of it. Now let's just pretend for one reason or another, you're not able to see the fireworks from inside the park. Maybe it's your break day, maybe you weren't able to get a reservation for Magic Kingdom that day. Or perhaps maybe you just need a break from the crowds. There is a special viewing area. I would call it secret, but it's probably a place that you have not been. As you can see, I'm currently at the end of the Contemporary. On the other side of the Contemporary, that's Chef Mickey. I am at the side of the Contemporary where you can see Fantasia, currently on the 4th floor. And there is the outside area. But if you take a left or a right, there should be doors that lead to the outside. You're gonna go past this Fantasia Market, pushing these double doors that seem like, what, should I be going out these doors? Yes, it's totally allowed. And right here, they actually have literal seats, because over in the distance, that's where Cinderella Castle is, and you'll be able to watch Happily Ever After, which is now currently the fireworks spectacular happening at the Magic Kingdom. Now, the reason I specifically love this location, 1, there are seats. 2, you can still kind of see the projections. It's close enough that you can see some of the projections. And 3, they actually pump the music of Happily Ever After onto this balcony area. So that way you're able to see the fireworks and the music go together the way that it was intended to. You got a seat. Now, be aware, the secret is slowly starting to get out. And last time I was out here, there was a crowd of, I would say 20, 25 people, just because they saw the fireworks from the distance and they all came outside and they were like, oh, benches. Nobody was really sitting out here holding down these seats waiting for it to happen. There might be 1 or 2, but I have yet to see that. See those balconies up above there? They've actually started to watch the fireworks from these balconies as well, which I have yet to do that, but it'd be I think that'd be a pretty interesting view from these balconies and kind of those balcony areas as well. Now let's talk about why you probably have never been to this place. Well, because it looks like a place you shouldn't be allowed to go. The doors alone look like emergency exit doors. They're in a dark, ominous hallway, and like, should I go through these doors? It doesn't say don't, but yeah, you are allowed to go through those doors. There are some more guest-friendly doors on the right-hand side. Now, why should you go to this area next time you're at the Contemporary? I mean, let's look at these views. It's not really a crowded area. If people and crowds stress you out, this is definitely a lighter version of the fireworks and a lighter version of the crowds. And my big reason for loving this location, other than the views and everything I've said so far, there is no mass exodus when the fireworks are over. Typically, there tends to be this crazy, we must all get to the exit at the exact same time once the fireworks are over because the night is over, we gotta get to our car. That doesn't really happen. Again, last time I was out here, there was 20, 25 people. We all just stood up and we left, and nobody said a word to each other. It was glorious. Next up on the places you probably have not been in Disney World, all of the exhibits at the World Showcase at Epcot. Now here at the World Showcase in Epcot, what you're supposed to do is kind of explore each pavilion. You know, the Mexico Pavilion, Norway Pavilion, China Pavilion. And while you're exploring each pavilion, it's supposed to give you a taste of what that culture is like, all the way from the architecture to the food to the wine. But there are actually so many hidden exhibits throughout all these pavilions that I'm sure you haven't been to before. Here's one, for example, that I recently found and I'm secretly obsessed with, and that is the Disney Shanghai Resort exhibit all the way in the back. It's actually in the House of the Whispering Willows. They house this Disney Shanghai Resort exhibit where you can see, or you can just get a taste of what you can experience at Disney Shanghai. Yearning to visit Shanghai Disneyland? You can now get a taste of the world's newest Disney park at Epcot. The gallery showcases exclusive work as well as a look at the classic and cutting-edge attractions within Shanghai Disneyland's 6 lands of fantasy and thrilling adventure. But again, that is just one of many World Showcase exhibits that are kind of hidden that you probably have not been before. Shout out to the exhibit in Morocco, Race Against the Sun, Kawaii Culture in Japan, that's close to the Mitsukoshi department store. Now let's talk about why you probably haven't been there in the past. World Showcase is huge and each pavilion is filled with lots and lots of secrets and details. And unless you are actively looking for new things, you'll probably miss it. For example, Race Against the Sun in Morocco, first time I stepped in there was maybe a year and a half ago, just because it looks like an architecture door that I probably shouldn't walk through. It literally just looked like architecture. So some of these exhibits are hidden, but don't be afraid to ask around, see if there's something that you should be checking out. Obviously, don't go just opening random doors. But you never know what secrets and what hidden exhibits you can find the deeper you go into these showcase pavilions. Why you should definitely go to these exhibits next time you're visiting Epcot. First things first, most of them are in the AC, which during the hot Florida sun, that's always a plus. But really the whole reason to explore these exhibits is to immerse yourself in these countries' cultures. So learn something new, get out of the hot sun for a second, and see what happens. This is probably the most hidden food location in all of Disney World, and it's located here at Animal Kingdom in Africa. So just outside the entrance to Animal Kingdom's famed Kilimanjaro Safari sits a window service counter that offers up irresistible treats and a place to hang your safari hat for a refreshing break. Now, Kusafiri serves some quick bites for breakfast with a selection of pastries and a more substantial breakfast sandwich. Now there's more like food for the rest of the day that includes more unique selections, including flatbreads and my favorite and a Breedlove approved Impossible empanada. Let's grab something. I'm feeling a little snackish. What does it for me is how crispy and flaky this dough actually is. The meat inside, there is no meat. It's impossible. See, tricked me, got me Impossible. The filling inside does still give off a meat vibe. There's a little bit of a kick to it. It's not that bad. It tastes like a really good empanada. The flavors don't fight each other. The texture is nice. My go-to favorite snacks here in Africa at Animal Kingdom is the Impossible empanada and the street corn, literally 20 steps away. Now, the reason you've probably never been to Kusafiri Coffee Shop and Bakery is because it is literally a hole in the wall. You are probably so busy on your way to Kilimanjaro Safari that you completely miss the things happening around you, which definitely, it's important to stop and smell the roses from time to time. But it is truly a hole-in-the-wall window stand, maybe? That's what I would call it. Why you definitely should come to this place if you've never been before is that the food is really good. They've got some great pastry options in the morning for breakfast and a great sandwich, as well as some just great snack options. They're not that filling. It doesn't make me feel too heavy. I can eat this and easily get on any ride or continue to walk around in the hot sun. It is awesome, awesome. And in case you need to get a cup of free water, they have cups of free water here as well. So Kusafiri for the win. The Swan and Dolphin are on-site resort hotels that are deluxe caliber resorts. Even though they're not owned by Disney, they're Marriott operated, they still get some of the same perks that Disney resorts get, as opposed to non-operated Disney resorts. They don't get any of those perks that the Swan and Dolphin gets. So because of these location perks and these, extra magic perks, it's kind of like Disney's unofficial hotel. Again, not operated by Disney, but it's still unofficial. Now, it's actually looped in with the Crescent Lake Resort, so that would be the Swan and Dolphin, the Boardwalk Inn, and Yacht and Beach Club. That means that the Swan and Dolphin has walking access to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, the Skyliner. Really though, here's the perk that I think is most beneficial to everyone watching, is that because it has the same perks and kind of a really great location, you feel like it should be priced at a deluxe resort situation. It is not. It is significantly cheaper than deluxe resorts elsewhere on property. For example, the Yacht Beach Club have an average, and I'm talking about an average for a standard room, about $700 a night. The Swan and Dolphin, about $350 average for a standard room. That is a significant price difference, especially for being almost in the exact same location. And the Swan and Dolphin does have some incredible dining. Everything from grab-and-go coffee to fine dining, and the cheapest table service restaurant on Disney property called The Fountain. Now, why haven't you ever been to the Swan and Dolphin? Well, probably because it's not a Disney World resort. If you're kind of come to Disney World, the places that people try and tell you to stay are the Contemporary, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Pop Century, Art of Animation, those kind of places. They're the Disney-centric resorts. So you're probably not thinking about the Swan and Dolphin. But why you should definitely go next time you come to Disney World: 1, for the location, 2, for the price, and 3, Quincy says because of the dining. She's like, talk about the dining. I hear you, Quincy. You know what? Quincy does a whole overview on her resort tour, so you can check out Quincy talk all about the fine dining at the Swan and Dolphin. I just think it's a great location and price, so it's great. The Coca-Cola Store is actually a really fun stop for families who are visiting Disney Springs. Now, the store actually has 3 different levels. The first level, that's where you're gonna find all of your Coca-Cola merchandise. The t-shirts, the sweatshirts, the pillows, the socks, all Coca-Cola themed, lots of fun. The second floor has more merchandise, but it also has the Coca-Cola Polar Bear experience, where you can meet the Coca-Cola Polar Bear. Now, the meet and greet is free, but it does have very specific hours, so make sure to check when they are open. It can be from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., but I have seen those hours dwindle to shorter and shorter hours during less busy times. The third floor is a Coca-Cola beverage bar. This is where you can purchase and try different sodas from all around the world. Just like Club Cool, however, there are many more variations to try different sodas from different areas. And unfortunately, because there are more, it is available for purchase. They're not free to try like they are Club Cool. Typically, the beverage bar doesn't open until noon, but it is definitely something to test out, and I highly recommend it. Now, reasons why you've probably never been to the Coca-Cola Store: it's pretty niche. The Coca-Cola Store is, unless you're desperate for some Coca-Cola merch, which some of the Coca-Cola merch is pretty awesome. Unless you're desperate for it, you're not probably seeking out a huge Coca-Cola store. And if you do come into the Coca-Cola Store, you probably don't make it past the first floor. You probably don't know there's multiple levels. But why you should go is because there are lots of fun things to do. It's basically a Coca-Cola festival with all you can try world sodas, meet and greets, and merch galore. So give it a shot next time you're at Disney Springs. Now, I know many of you have been to Wilderness Lodge. This is not the place that you've never been before. However, there is a specific room inside of Wilderness Lodge that many people haven't been, and if they have been, and they actually don't know the meaning of this room. Now, the vibes of Disney Wilderness Lodge is very log cabin-y, camping, except you're not going to Fort Wilderness, which is that's where your camping is happening. But if I were ever to take a mountain trip anywhere, I would imagine that this is kind of a lodge that I would be staying in, except probably smaller because it's Disney World. Inside the Wilderness Lodge, that's where you're gonna find Whispering Canyon. You're gonna have some really great views. It's very woodsy. So when you enter the Wilderness Lodge, take a right, go through these glass doors to find this specific room. But you're gonna keep going all the way through the covered path. You're gonna go into the Boulder Ridge villas, and you'll see welcome home members and all guests. This is for you. Come on in here. Take a right, and this is the Carolwood Pacific train room. It's like weirdly quiet in here. I don't think I'm in Disney World, and there is not a soul around. And you hear like the Frontier music, and it's so peaceful in here. So you may know Disney's Wilderness Lodge and the nearby Disney Fort Wilderness for their outdoor activities and the famous Hoop-de-Doo musical review, but if you wander to the villas at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, you'll find a room full of Disney history. The Carolwood Pacific Railroad Room is located inside the Boulder Ridge Villas at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, which is connected to the main lodge by a covered walkway. According to Disney's story, quote unquote, this building that we're in right now actually predates Wilderness Lodge itself. Now, as you may guess, the room is jam-packed with train memorabilia, but it also contains a crucial part of Walt Disney's story. Now, Walt Disney famously loved trains, and this room is all about preserving that legacy. You're gonna find photos with Walt and all of his trains. Now, the Carolwood Pacific was a 1/8 scale steam railroad Walt designed himself. And it's just such a cool piece of history. Now, this is very simple. The reason you probably have never been here before is because you didn't know it existed. And if you did know it existed, you probably didn't know what any of this meant. And why you definitely should come next time is because just look at the Disney around you. It is always important to remember that Disney World didn't just pop up one day. And yes, it was all started by a mouse, but it was also a man that created that mouse. And this is kind of paying homage to him. So what a cool, wow, this is cool. I forgot how much I love this place. Disney's Animal Kingdom is Disney's signature wildlife theme park, and it is huge. There are so many things to do. However, you are missing out on a very peaceful journey filled with sights, animals, tranquility, and the closest you can get to the top of the park's icon without actually being inside of it. I'm talking about the Tree of Life Gardens and the Discovery Island trails. So this is typically how I would start my morning if I were just visiting the Animal Kingdom. First things first, I would pop on over to Creature Comforts, which is basically the Starbucks of Animal Kingdom. This is where you're gonna get your coffee, your caffeine, your pastries. We're gonna get our favorite beverage here, and then we're actually gonna head out on the trail. It's pretty early in the morning, right after park opening, so we're just gonna kind of take it easy, get away from the crowds, and just experience like a little bit of what Animal Kingdom is all about. Okay, I've got my coffee, a little vanilla latte iced. So let's head into the Tree of Life Garden. This is absolutely one of my favorite ways to start my day at Animal Kingdom. It's peaceful, they've got some really great photo ops, and you get incredibly close to the Tree of Life. Now, the Tree of Life is Animal Kingdom's park icon. It has 300 plus animal carvings that make up the Tree of Life. That's the other great thing about the Tree of Life Garden and the Discovery Island Trail is that there are animal exhibits along the way that normally you would miss. It's not the animal trails that everybody talks about, like the Gorilla Falls or the Maharaja Jungle Trek. It's kind of not labeled well, and you're missing a lot. And look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. You can touch the base of the Tree of Life without actually being inside of it, which is pretty cool. You can get an up-close look at these animal carvings. You can see there's the beaver, there's that tiger, there's the crane, the squirrel, the rhinoceros, the ant. Feels like you're closer to the circle of life. When you're here, you're touching it, that's just like, I feel connected. Now, as we walk through this trail, let's talk about why you've probably never been here before. Oh, waterfall. Yeah. First things first, they aren't well advertised. There's a sign or two that says, what it is. It's like, but again, it's hidden. It's carved out of, this tree stump area. And no one is really quite sure what it is. So, how would you know to go in there? But why you absolutely should go to these places next time you're in Animal Kingdom, well, it's very peaceful. You can get some great photo ops. It's away from all the crowds that, you know, it can be pretty insane sometimes, and you can check out some great animal exhibits. Now, sometimes during peak season, there are actually some surprise meet and greets. For example, I've seen Tarzan and down here, sometimes Pocahontas. On the Tree of Life Gardens, that kind of takes you high above, or higher, I guess, the Tree of Life. But the Discovery Island Trails, it actually kind of takes you lower, like underneath. You'll inevitably end up seeing where It's Tough to Be a Bug lets out of their show. And yeah, inside the Tree of Life, there is a full 3D show called It's Tough to Be a Bug, inspired by A Bug's Life. Also, if it's extremely busy, if it's a busy day, using the Tree of Life Gardens or the Discovery Island Trails, it's a great way to actually skip all the crowds and get from one place to the other. It serves almost kind of like a shortcut, which is awesome. But again, just super peaceful, by the water. You got waterfalls. You can hear the really nice background music that Animal Kingdom has pumping through on Discovery Island. I am so excited to feature this next place that you've probably never been, because it's one of my favorite places at one of my favorite resorts, just because of the two restaurants located, and they're probably not what you think they are, but let's go check out my #1 favorite spot. I am actually here at Coronado Springs, one of my favorite resorts. In order to even get to this location, you have to go to the 16th floor of the Coronado. Once you leave the elevator, take a right, and we are headed into the Dahlia Lounge. Wow, this would normally be the best view in all of Disney World, except it's so gross out right now. Now, the Dahlia Lounge is really interesting because it is actually themed to a very specific character. It's themed to one of the characters from Walt Disney and surrealist artist Salvador Dali's collaboration, the animated short Destino. Now, that short is actually on loop on the TVs above the bar, so it's definitely not a sports bar. It's definitely playing the Destino short. The short itself is definitely unique, and I would say more adult-centric. Lots of, obviously, because Salvador Dali's surrealist shapes and imagery. More on the Fantasia side of things, for sure, but definitely mesmerizing and almost a tad haunting. Haunting, that's a good word for it. A tad haunting. Now, it is only open in the evening hours, making it a great late-night option after your day in the parks, but it's open from about 5 p.m. until midnight. It's located right next door to the full-service Toledo restaurant, but the Dahlia Lounge really features some great drinks and some great tapas items for you to snack on. Now, the reason you've probably never been is because it's on the 16th floor. You actually have to get in the elevator and go all the way up. Unless it's advertised and say, hey, come up to the 16th floor, probably not going to come here. And it is more adult-centric. So if you got kids with you and you're looking for more family-centric style situation, this would not be it. But here's why you definitely should come next time you're at the Coronado, or next time you're at Disney World and you want a fun late-night adult beverage. One, the unique Disney history and the unique art that's happening here, only here at the Dahlia Lounge, and this view. You can see so many things from this. It's almost 180, it's not quite 180 degrees, but it's almost 180 degrees. It's a huge patio. You can see Epcot and you can see Hollywood Studios. And if you time it right, around 9 o'clock, 9:30, you can see both fireworks happening at the exact same time. The Dahlia Lounge actually is open until midnight, and many places, even places like Disney Springs, they all close down at 11. So if you're looking for a later evening with adults and some fun times, definitely the Dahlia Lounge is the place to be. All right, gotta get back to my car. Here goes nothing. My hair! If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now go watch me show you all the rides that you should not skip next time you're at Disney World. It's wet. Bye.